Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another Shlog here at Highland Cycles. This is our weekly vlog where we show you all the things that happen at a little motorcycle shop in Montrose, Colorado, which is on the western side of the state in the heart of the most awesome dirt biking I can ever imagine. So if that sounds awesome to you, make sure you join us for this video and let's get going. Alright guys, so we're here and Mr. Sheets is experiencing what I believe could be some anger-inspiring moments. He is attempting to get a beat the sheet. Not doing it. Not having it. No matter how mad he gets, it won't do it. So, I think this is a good time to show how a cheetah works. If you've never seen a cheetah work on a tire, then I say we do it, and let's see what happens here. So, and there's Leandra. Hi, Leandra. She's doing the important stuff. Zach and I are just here for looks. So.
I don't know. Well, it's gonna work. It's not flopping around.
Shut up! It's gonna work. Zach is always so negative. So. That's a cheetah, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill it up to 380,000 PSI for all of you internet keyboard jockeys who are going to yell at us for not being safe enough. I know it's coming, so it'll actually probably be about 100, 110 PSI. And so the way it works is you put air in through here, and then you release air very quickly through here to help the bead seat and pop out onto, get the tire bead to pop out onto the rim bead. And despite Zach's negative attitude, I think it's going to work. Look at it. So good. It's seriously so much fun here at Highland Cycles, but no, it's not. We hate being here. We hate working here. We do not enjoy being at all. We have no fun, zero fun. So, all right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. Hold on. So one of the keys to this thing working, guys, so we're gonna get that part of the cheetah right down in here, aiming there to force air very quickly into here to pop it out. The other thing that has to happen is we got to have a supply of air on the noosle. You got to put the noosle on the hooves, and so. I put that on there. I'm gonna hold the cheetah and try to scare the crap out of Zach. And surprise him. He's got his safety glasses on, which is a good idea. I don't. I got my safety splits. Wait, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready!
Ready.
So much anger. Give me that hose! No, well, for now, but we'll be loud again here in a second. Oh yeah. Oh yeah! Woo. Oh yeah! Positivity wins! Take that, Zach Sheets, negative attitude. Oh, that was awesome. Actually, I did not think that was going to work, but it totally worked. Yeah, anyway, this is a home-built cheetah, by the way. If you guys ever want to build one, yeah, here, take a look at that. That's how you do it. I actually didn't build that. A buddy of mine built it for me. Basically, you just buy one of these little tanks. Got to weld a bung onto it. Put a quick release thing here. That's all just screw in over here. So if you're a shop and you do lots of tires, I highly recommend it because a lot of times they just do not want a seat on the beat. So anyway, there we go. On to the next job. Actually, excuse me. Now I have awesome mail time. We're starting off the Shlog. Well, we started with that, but now we're gonna start with mail time for preparation for Idaho, because we're going to Idaho next week. Very exciting. When you guys are watching this, I will probably be on my way to Idaho. So first of all, there is the Daisy, the 300 XCW with my Kriega OS Combo 12 bags on it. There's a video, if you haven't seen that, check that out. Just installing that. I've actually been messing with where the straps go, trying to figure that out because they kind of seem to ride where it's going to be on my boot. So I don't really know. Whatever, we're just going to have to see how it goes. So I moved that up. I had it down lower. I moved it up. I think that's going to be better. And then over here, did the same thing. I moved it onto here. So I think, I don't know. We're going to find out. We'll see how it goes. If not, we'll just keep fiddling with it till we get it right. But here's some other things if you want to know what you got to do to get ready to go to Idaho. So, first of all, Idaho State Parks and Rec Department. Yeah, I got it right. It's the Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation. I believe this is going to be my sticker. Boom. There we go. There's my sticker. Pretty smoking deal. It's $12 for the year, which I think is a great deal to be able to go ride my dirt bike in Idaho. There's $25 here, which is also a very good deal, but this is an even smokier deal. So I'm really happy about that. Going to be putting it onto my fly racing registration holder. There's my Colorado one. Spin around. Going to put it right there. And then here's the other thing that I'm excited about. I got my OnX Idaho chip for my Garmin eTrex 22X. Now I have OnX on my phone. I pay for the subscription to have all the maps on my phone at all times, but Idaho is so filled with areas that don't have any cell coverage. And I know the phone, as long as I download the map prior to getting there, I can do it. But a lot of times I either don't think about that or I don't get the right area. So this will go into my 22X, which is going to go on my 300, and then that's going to be awesome because I'll have everything from OnX, both like private land boundaries, all the trails, all the roads, everything. It's going to be awesome. So really excited about that. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, we're Daisy's getting close to being ready. Service the shock. I sadly did not film that. Sorry about that, guys. Service the shock. I really wish I had because it was absolutely disgusting. But got that done. And yeah, bike's actually pretty much ready to go. I got to change the tranny oil. And then yeah, I think that's about it. I got to go through, make sure all the bearings are tight and all that stuff. But should be good. So all right, on to the next job. Alright guys, next on the list we got this CRF. We are doing a few kind of simple things to it. We're putting a new water pump in it, which means seals and things like that. You can't take a pump and replace the pump on a dirt bike. But so get a new water pump, all that dialed in. Got an oil leak, got to find that. It doesn't really say where it is. Let's figure out where that is. And then once over, it said it may have a brake issue. So that's next up on our list. But I want to show you guys something that I've never seen before in my entire life. Over here on Sheetsy Poo's lift, we have another CRF. Seems like it's dueling CRFs. Focus. Look at that. The piston is cracked. I have I've never seen that before. I've seen broken skirts, I've seen valves hit, I've seen so many things happen to dirt bikes, but that is the first time I've ever seen a crack like that. I've seen lots of cracks in pistons. It's usually in a skirt on a two-stroke, but that's new. That is brand new. I don't even know exactly how that happened. Somehow or another, the cylinder looks perfect. Whatever. And we're rebuilding the top end, new valves, new everything on the top. So yeah, I can't even, anyway, whatever. That's nuts. I'll check in if we find out exactly what happened, but I don't know. I think it just has probably 1 billion hours and was abused. So, all right, let's dive into the water pump on this CRF right now. All right, guys. Whoa. Okay, guys, so got everything out of the way, got the pipe out of the way. Especially on Hondas, the head pipes usually come down really low and then back up, so you got to get that out of the way. I got the coolant hose out of the way, kickstart out of the way, brake pedal out of the way. Everything's loose and it's coming off, and that, I mean, sadly, this is water and oil mixed together. I normally try not to do that, but anyway, I wasn't paying attention. So anyway, got it off. It's coming off, and so that's disconcerting to see that look like that. That's not good. Also, you can see the gas. Whoever installed this last gasket did that. I don't know. Anyway, fortunately, it looks like the gasket seemed to be okay. I don't know, though. Hopefully, I'm going to have another gasket here. We'll replace that. But let's take this thing off and take a look inside. Surprisingly, everything looks clean. I think it's probably because it's been sitting for such a long time that the oil has drained down and out of everything. So I hope it runs. I don't know. That's, yeah. So, all right, now we got to take the water pump apart and replace all those parts. I'll show you how we do that. Any luck? It would be called the inner clutch cover gasket. Well, that's what I would call it. All right, there's the shaft. You see, focus, there we go, how gnarly it gets. Unfortunately, these kits don't come with a new shaft. That's okay though. We're gonna take some Scotch-Brite and really clean this up and make it nice and perfect again. So I like to start just by hand like this, kind of get the grime and stuff off of it. Chalk it up like that so that we can kind of put some weight on it. And all right, that looks a lot better. Still have some sort of imperfections in there. I might go back over just a little bit more, but that should be fine. We got all the main junk and stuff off of there, and you can't really feel them with your fingernails. Just a tiny, tiny bit, but that's going to be all right. That should still seal up just fine. Now, we got to pull the seals out. There we go. So it's really important, guys, to take a look at how this thing goes. So it just came out like that. That's the back side. And it looks backwards because most seals, when you put them into something, they end up looking like that with the flat part. Not so on this, because what you're doing is you're trying to keep the water from going that way into the transmission. So it seals like that. So we'll put that one there. And then, there we go. We're going to knock the other seal and bearing out of this side. And again, pay attention to how that seal came out. It's the same thing. So now it goes in like that. Well, it comes up from the bottom like that because it's keeping oil from going that way or into the water. There we go. Old bearing. Actually still in fine shape, but we got new ones. So we got our All Balls water pump kit, and honestly, I don't love everything that All Balls makes, but I've never ever had a problem with one of their water pump kits. So Comes with gasket, both seals, and a bearing, so that's cool. I'm gonna take this thing and clean it up really good, and then we'll come back and install all this stuff. All right. Okay, guys, we got her cleaned up. Now we got to put this seal in first. So this is the oil seal. I call it the oil seal. It's the one that keeps the oil out of the water. So it goes in, like I said, like that. Let's see, there we go. And if you can do this stuff by hand, I recommend it, because this keeps it from running the risk of damaging something. Close. I'm just going to use this to push on it by hand, still on the edge, because we almost got her down in there. And you can check from this side and make sure it's flush tight up against the case. That looks good. And we're going to take our bearing. Just then I like to, I know someone on here is going to yell at me for using a hammer on that and not being all more careful, but the reality is I've never actually seen one of these bearings fail. The other thing is I'm using a soft hammer and I'm not putting it down against something hard, so it's giving every time I hit it. That's good. Now I like to take just a little bit of some lube, spray it on there while it sits, because it sit dry here for a little bit. Now we take our water seal, like I said, it goes in like this. We may need to get something big to push down on it. Big socket with a big flat point, we can just hopefully. Tap it a little bit. And by using a socket that's big and flat like that, there's no, first of all, you're not using this edge that could slip or turn or whatever, damage it. And also, it's nice and flat. It's bigger than the outside, so it only pushes it flush. It won't actually push it down too far. So that's good. Now we're going to take our new shaft, just a little bit of grease on there to lube it up. Come through, be nice and easy. Alright guys, got her all cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. We're going to put her back on. Really super simple. So we're going to put this on. The one thing you got to pay attention to is on the shaft, it's flat on two sides, so that keys into the crank, basically, and well, not basically, it is the crank, so it keys onto the crank. So you got to make sure that goes in and lines up. That's why I like to leave the cover off of this side, so that I can grab a hold of that shaft and rotate it as we go in and make sure it lines up as we go together. There we go. Now I'm going to put the bolts in on the outside, bolt the impeller back on there, fill it back up with everything, and make sure we got her good. Alright guys, so the Honda was good to go. Wasn't leaking any more coolant, wasn't leaking any more oil. Everything was all ready to rock and roll, so he is good to go. Got a few other things that we found, fork seals, rear wheel bearings, things like that he really should do, but he just doesn't have the money right now, so he's gonna take it. I'm sure he'll ride it, but that's okay. Oh, but I do want to show you something. Because no Shlog is really complete without me yelling about air filters. This is the air filter that was in that Honda. It's impossible for you guys to feel or see completely from the YouTubes, but it's completely bone dry and torn up on the edges. There was some dust on the wrong side of it. I cleaned that out, checked compression, everything was fine. It will be wearing out soon, unfortunately, but we got a new air filter, oiled it up for him, and we'll give him a lesson when he comes in to pick it up. But next on the lift is this older Husqvarna 350, I believe, and the customer, this is almost exactly what he said. Yeah, Morgan was riding it, going down the road, and then all of a sudden the motor went zing, and it quit running. So, yeah, we need to figure out why it went zing. It does this. It makes bad noises when you do that. So this should be exciting and interesting. So yeah, let's take this thing apart and see what's wrong. All right, guys, so I got the motor apart, and this is awesome in so many ways. It's sad for the owner. I'm very sad for him, but he's got other motorcycles, so whatever. This does happen. It's pretty rare. So let's just start. Let's start with what I found first. So cylinder head has that wear right there. So that's junk. That immediately is junk. There's the top, the cam cap. So that means the head is no bueno. You can see somewhere on that follower, but then really, oh, there we go. You see there, you see the wear on the cam and the cam lobe. So, also junk. That's what we found first. I was like, okay, well, this is bad. Then, as I continued to pull it apart, I took the head off and looked in and looked down on the top of the piston. And I'll show you the next thing I saw. Focus! There we go. Those two little marks right there and there. That's from the valves hitting the piston. So that means the valves are junk. The piston's, well, the piston's way more junk than just that. So, means the piston's junk. Also means probably the crank is junk, because when something hits that and goes, yeah, that hard, it's generally really bad for bearings, so I usually say, beep, crank no good. Then when I took the cylinder off, come in here, you see that, and that's awesome. So that's definitely junk. And then, as I was trying to get off, I really didn't want to come off because it kept cocking the piston and the cylinder, because this skirt no longer at the correct fit anyway. Yeah. So it's all junk. The whole thing is junk. Sadly, it needs everything: crank, piston, cylinder, all the gaskets, cam chain, yeah, everything, like all the things. Just so you guys know. Oh, look at that, Landra, she's coming back. What do you want?
Can we get that tank on order for him?
Tank? I don't know if we could get it. I'll ask around. I doubt it. But did you talk to him? No. He said, yeah.
Imagine that.
I'll see if we can get a tank. I'll call Fred. I doubt it, but I'll call, because I don't know where you even get them anymore. But yeah, she's actually asking about the other bike this gentleman brought in, which is a 70-degree Husqvarna, which has one of the auxiliary tanks that's in the subframe, and it's leaking, and you can't get those anyway. Whatever, it's a nightmare. So anyway, so this job is 10 hours worth of labor for us. Is what we charge to split cases on a 4-stroke and go back together. So that's $900, and then all the parts, getting them from Husqvarna / KTM, whatever. Everything all told comes to right at $4,500, and I'm guessing he's not going to fix it. Is he going to fix it?
We'll think about it.
He's thinking about it. I hope he thinks better of it and doesn't fix it, because it needs fork seals. That's another $300. Probably needs lots of other things anyway. Whatever. So yeah, it's sad. I mean, I guess whatever. If he fixes it, it'll be a really nice bike, but seems kind of silly. I'd rather buy another one that's running and have this as a parts bike, because it's got a lot of good parts on it. Triple clamps, forks, wheels, whatever. Anyway, there you go. I don't really know what caused this, other than probably, I don't know, it probably was, I'm guessing, low oil, or I don't really know. It's an interesting conundrum, really, as to why this happened, because there was plenty of oil in it when I drained it, but I don't know if that oil was in it when it blew up. So there we go, guys. That is a giant bummer for this gentleman, but pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing all that carnage. I do. It's kind of fun. Mr. Sheets is over there fighting the good fight on a CRF 250. He's getting close. We're waiting on one gasket. We should have tomorrow, then we can have that thing done. But yeah, it needs a tire. Look at this. This is interesting. No mention of needing a tire. Look at this. Yeah. Rebuilding the motor, spending lots of money on the motor, no tires. So that's all right. He's spending all of his money on the motor. So, because that one topped. That's the one that had the cracked piston. Yeah, that was awesome. So anyway, on to the next job. All right, guys. So right now I'm putting together this. This is from a couple Shlogs ago. We built kind of like a mini adventure bike out of this WR. I've been waiting on shrouds for this to fit because it takes YZ shrouds. But anyway, I want to show you something over here. This is the reason that I don't like the two-piece aluminum and steel. And I don't know which brand this is. I know a lot of people have had great luck with those, but that's the second fail in 2 weeks I've seen. This one here, and then one at the Shady Burro Enduro, came all the way off and left the guy stranded and had to walk. Anyway, it was a nightmare. So if you're gonna go upgrade on sprocket, just buy a DDC Racing. They last forever. They're amazing. They're 100 110 bucks, but they last forever. So yeah, just that or Dirt Tricks. They're basically the same. They're this one right here. My kid's 125, but it's got this style. I personally had one on a KTM 300 with 500 hours on it, and it was still fine. So anyway, back to work. All right, guys. Next on the list is this lovely KX450F. We're doing fork seals, so I'm going to be filming an in-depth video of doing these forks. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also consider subscribing to the channel anyway, because it really does help us out, and it's totally free for you and helps us a ton. So anyway, that'd be awesome. All right, I'm gonna get to filming this thing. All right, guys, so the fork seal job on the KX is on hold because actually we didn't have the right seals for it, and the whole jacked up thing, like I said, there's still going to be a separate video, in-depth video on fixing that thing. But let me just show you guys, since you're Shlog guys and girls watching this. This fork is not supposed to have this spring in it. It's an air fork, and someone made a very janky spring conversion for it, and it's got aluminum everywhere. Anyway, whatever. So it's not gonna be my favorite fix. We're gonna get it back together for him because it needs a lot of expensive parts, and he just wants to ride the thing. I think we'll be okay, but whatever. So there's that. But next on the list is this KTM. It is a, what is this thing? 450 XCF. Ooh, wait, phone's ringing. Sorry, I got interrupted by the call. So this guy, who clearly is very tall, he's got lots of risers here. Anyway, yeah, I brought it in and said it doesn't start, like the starter doesn't work. So let's hit the button. That is the sound of the clutch freewheel, like the clutch on the freewheel, the Sprag clutch on the freewheel not working. So I don't even have to take it apart, which is good. I'm just gonna go ahead and get that part coming. Just need the Sprag, and we're gonna go ahead and get the actual freewheel also, because we got time. The last one I did, I got all sorts of you guys yelling at me, "Oh, I didn't replace the freewheel connection." Well, you're right, I didn't, and everything's fine. That bike is still starting just fine. But that one needed to get out of here quick because they were going riding. This one has time, so we're going to order those parts. It'll be just fine. But the other thing we got to do is bleed the front brake because it does nothing. But real quick, education for everybody. I see this a lot here, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know how it happens. It must be when people put new plastics on. And looking at this one, it looks like it probably had a snow bike on it, so maybe that's why it's off. But let me show you something, guys. So this, hold on. All right, so this routing of the brake cable is incorrect. It's supposed to go on the inside. And the reason is so that as you're going through stuff and brush, it doesn't grab a hold of this thing and yank it, you know, either knock you off the bike or bust the cable or whatever. So good thing is super easy. Just gonna take the caliper off, route it the right way. But like I said, these, you can tell, were cut. That's because this was probably set up for a snow bike. And that means also we probably need to get him new fork guards, because that is a good way to end up jacking up your fork tapes. So we'll probably order those at the same time as the motor parts, and we'll get it all set up. Yeah, it looks like, now that I look at it more, he's got lots of heat wrap and stuff, and so I think this thing was most definitely a snow bike at one point, and it's now not, which is cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna bleed the brake. I've got lots of videos of bleeding brakes, so you guys can search around for those. So yeah, we'll get that done and get them on the way. Say hi, Flippy.
What's up, guys?
All right, guys. So I got this little TTR 50 on my lift, and let me show you what is not supposed to come out of your airbox. That is a lot of oil. Whew. So the good thing is, I think that it should be fine. It probably just got flipped over, or they put way too much oil. Something happened, and it just filled the airbox with oil, and that's why it wasn't running. But yeah, holy moly, that's a lot of oil to come out of the airbox of a 50. Got oil on things that I didn't think we were gonna have oil on them. So pretty exciting stuff here, guys. Just a little quick now. I'm not going to show you all what I'm doing. I'm just going to clean it all up. Probably clean the carburetor out. It should be fine. But the thing about these little 4-stroke 50s is that this happens actually a lot, because kids will ride and then they flip the thing over, you know, because they're kids, and they flip it over and it just will fill the airbox, because the crankcase breather is, well, where is it? Anyway, it's back there, and it goes right up into the airbox. So I like to take that hose, unhook it from the airbox, do a big loop up, and then down and go out to the ground, so that kind of stuff doesn't happen. So anyway, yeah. All right, guys, the little TTR runs. Check it out. Oh, I unhooked the battery. Anyway, the TTR runs now. I'm waiting for a battery. I had to order one, but yeah, I got the oil changed, new spark plug, cleaned the carburetor out. It was actually really dirty, besides just the oil in there, and got that done. So it's all ready to rock and roll. Now it is time for the week to end, and about time for me to start working on this 300 to take to Idaho. So if you're interested, if any of this is interesting to you on what it takes to get a bike ready to go on a big long trip up in the mountains, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be shooting a whole video series about the trip, so everything from the riding, the driving, the prepping the bike, all that good stuff. I'm getting ready to start that right now. So this is the end of the Shlog. I love you guys. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes!